Warzone lied to us. Everything you know about the current Warzone is about to change. Call of Duty just dropped patch notes for the new Warzone, and oh my god, this is crazy. There are so many things that are changing, and honestly, I feel like if I didn't know about this, I'd be so lost. So let's go over everything that's about to change and how the current era of Warzone is over. There are so many changes coming, so I won't overwhelm you with everything, but I'm gonna give you the most important that I believe. Weapons and attachments have changed probably the most out of everything here, which we'll get into, but for now, let's see what other changes they've made. First and foremost, let's go over the Ricochet anti-cheat. As we know, the anti-cheat isn't the greatest, so I'm gonna take everything here with a grain of salt. So in the first section, they pretty much said that they enhanced AFK detection to battle against account boosting. For those of you that don't know, a lot of people get new accounts, leave them AFK, get their KD so low, so that now they get bot lobbies. And then the second tab here, it says they adjusted ping thresholds to require players to play matches in their region to cut down on VPN abuse. Again, a lot of people use VPNs to trick matchmaking to pretty much get them bot lobbies. Apparently, Treyarch is now trying to cut back on this with these two added changes. Another change coming to ranked play is players will now have to win 50 matches of multiplayer before being able to play in ranked. Obviously, this is not Warzone, but I think whenever Warzone comes out in season 1.5, which we'll get into right now, hopefully they add maybe 10 wins, 15 wins in order to play ranked play. Because for those of you that don't know, ranked play is infested by cheaters. And then lastly, they said that Ricochet also utilizes its replay investigation tool to monitor replays of top players as part of the investigation process. Honestly, I'm not too hopeful for this. We've seen this multiple times where Ricochet does this and that, and there's still so many cheaters. In ranked play last season, I'm not even kidding, 85% of players were hacking. So let's see what happens this year. Now moving on to maps. For those of y'all who probably left during Warzone 2, trust me bro, I don't blame you, and are back finally after a long time, you probably don't know about this map. This is called Area 99. This map is inspired by Nuketown, and it is a resurgence map. I played this early at COD Next, and it honestly wasn't bad. The visuals looked really bad as far as colors, but the actual gameplay itself was really good. This is the general layout. In my opinion, I know people will always go back to Rebirth Island because it's what they've known, but honestly, this map is not bad, and I think over some time, people are gonna love it. Moving on to the big map. Sadly, we do not get a new map this year. Well, kinda. As you guys know, almost every year we've gotten a new map every time Warzone integrates. The first year, we had a version of Verdansk called Verdansk 84. Then we had Caldera, then we had Almazra, then we had Urzikstan. For the first time ever, we don't get a new map. And what's even crazier is that we get an older version of the current map that we have right now. I've talked about this extensively in other videos, but I'm pretty sure the reason they did this was because they wanted to bring back Verdansk in around March. Now that month is not confirmed, but that is what everybody is speculating. So what I assume happened is they had to choose, do they create a new map, which we know what map that is, Avalon, that got leaked, or on the other hand, do they hold off on releasing a new map and use all their resources to bring back Verdansk? Obviously, we know they're bringing back Verdansk. So yes, with the integration, we do not get a new map for Big Map. It is just Urzikstan. Now for Rebirth Island. People love this map so much that they were originally planning on not having it in the game on launch, but due to player feedback, they decided to re-put it in. So yes, when Warzone integrates, you will have Rebirth Island. Now what changes to the map are coming, if any? So for Urzikstan and Rebirth Island, vehicles. All new vehicles have improved handling, which we'll see a little bit later in the video, and brand new dirt bike for quicker rotations. Speaking on vehicles, I hope they change them enough because back in Warzone 1, vehicles were so good, and after Modern Warfare 2 pretty much ruined everything, vehicles became unusable. Now loot, I think, is a great change. All new Black Ops 6 ground loot, including weapons and equipment. Now I hope this doesn't happen, but there should be no reason for there to be Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 3 ground loot when the game integrates. In my opinion, Black Ops 6 being the new game, every single weapon on the ground loot should be Black Ops 6 guns. For visuals, they said lighting and visual improvements to the map with Black Ops 6 technology. Who knows what that means? For sound, they said audio improvements to in-game sound effects, including footsteps, balance, tuning. They say this every year that they're gonna fix footsteps and they never do, so we'll see what happens. Now for specifically Rebirth Island, the submarine is back. For redeployed drones, they increased the redeployed drone count and spawn rate for balancing in the later circles. And then the biometric scanner and the weapon trade station have just been rebalanced. Moving on to modes, it's Battle Royale, which is going to consist of solos, duos, trios, and quads on launch. Then for Resurgence, you'll have Area 99 and Rebirth, which will have solos, duos, trios, and quads. Solos, duos, and quads being 44 players and trios being 45. Then there's Plunder, which if you guys are going to be doing the camo grind, if they allow it on Plunder, this will probably be the easiest way to get all your weapon mastery camos. Then lastly, Boot Camp. Now they have made some adjustments to Resurgence, which I think are big changes. So in Resurgence, players will receive an additional 25% discount in the buy station on redeploy squad mate, while the Resurgence timer is still active. It's gonna make Resurgence a lot faster, which I don't even think it needed. But hey, I love fast gameplay. For the playlist update, which have been really bad for the last 6 months, they've added this. I won't speak into this too much. I'll just leave it on here on screen. For Warzone ranked play, we will not not get Warzone ranked on launch, which we've seen in multiple years before. But we do get ranked with Season 1.5, which they'll discuss later. Again, praying for no cheaters because I loved ranked. Some other changes, which I get asked a lot, is carry forward. People always ask what cosmetics would transfer from Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3 to the new Warzone. Pay close attention here to the verbiage that they use. They say weapons, blueprints, operators, and skins, and vast majority of the cosmetics from Modern Warfare 2 and 3 will be available to players in Black Ops 6 era of Warzone. Now, the keyword here is vast majority. Does that mean all? Does that mean just some? We're gonna have to wait and see. They also changed the AFK detection, just pretty much made it to where you can tell if people are AFK or not. Another big question is what happens to your leaderboard? And whether you like this or not, whether you're sad or happy, but leaderboards do reset when Warzone integrates. Now, for probably the thing that I'm most excited for in all of this Warzone integration is a Warzone Mastery camo. They haven't given us much info on how this is going to work, but for the most part, we know that it's going to be general kills in Warzone. Now, again, if plunder counts towards your weapon mastery, this is going to be the easiest mastery camo grind ever, or at least easier than most. Who knows what that kill count is going to be, but we do know that it is kills for the first part of the camo grind. The mastery camo grind is Abyss, which I personally am not the greatest fan of, but hey, it's something. Okay, now combat, which a lot of things did change here. They now gave you the ability to use a body shield, or what they call a meat shield. So for this, you come behind your enemy, you double tap melee, and this pretty much gets you in a chokehold, and you can use your enemy as a shield. You can whisper in your enemy's ears if you want. That's fine too. Or you can assassinate them, whatever you want. One of my favorite changes is the new dedicated melee spot. Every single player in Warzone will have a dedicated melee spot that you can pretty much bring out at any time. This will give you unlimited tac sprint and make you run faster. I'm pretty sure they're gonna release some crazy cosmetics for this, so watch out for that. And then shootable doors. From now on, you can shoot doors open instead of having to bash through them. I can see this used in tactical ways, and I can also see this getting really annoying. We'll find out in about 6 months how we feel about this. Now, moving on to your primary guns, things have changed. This is going back to the OG Warzone experience. We now have one primary gun, and then you use your secondary. You no longer get two primary guns off rip. Some people are gonna like this change, some people are gonna hate it. There is an overkill wild card, so that way you can have your primary and your submachine gun if you want. But this is going to make a pretty drastic change to Warzone, and I personally am kind of happy about it, but who knows what everybody else will think. Self-revive auto picks up now, which I think is a great addition to the game. Live ping duration has now been reduced, which in my opinion was absolutely broken. For those of y'all that don't know, my controller, I have a button on the side that I pretty much aim down sight and then I ping at the same time because of how broken it is. Shout out Battle Beater. This duration has been dropped down from 3 seconds to 2 seconds, which actually does make a difference. Now they changed the armor plate replacement speed, which is a huge W. The speed at which players can replace broken or missing armor plates has been increased by 8% to match the fluidity of Black Ops 6 omnimovement. This right here gives me hope that things are actually headed in the right direction. Again, Warzone 2 ruined everything for me, and now to see this, I'm so happy. Again, manage expectations. Who knows if 8% is even that much faster. The abandon timer has also changed, which is pretty much the time it takes for you to give up, from 5 seconds to 4 seconds. They also made changes to death's door. This is whenever you're really weak and all the sound gets muffled and your screen turns dark. I hate that animation only because I can no longer hear anything. It literally acts like you have a muzzle on your ears. So they changed this. They made it to where this only happens when your health is at 35% as opposed to 50%. And then the health at which the death's door state will end has reduced from 70% to 55%. They say the change is due to us wanting to enable players to better hear and see their surroundings when under threat by an enemy. This is a huge W. Treyarch, please keep cooking. Now for movement, maybe some of you guys know about this, maybe some of y'all don't, but omnimovement is the new movement system added to Warzone. Again, complete night and day between Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops 6. You can pretty much run in any direction. Yes, forward, backwards, sideways, whatever, 90 degrees, whatever you want. You can run in any direction, you can slide in any direction, and you can dive in any direction. This gives you so much freedom, and I absolutely personally love omnimovement. You can also do combat supine, which is pretty much turning in a 360 whenever you're laying down prone, and it's kind of like you're shooting between your legs. It's kind of broken, and it's really hard to hit you. Now, intelligent movement, I won't get too into detail with, but they pretty much automated certain movement abilities. Again, I would like to do everything manually, but for those of y'all who are maybe new to the game, this might actually help you a lot. You have sprint assist, mantle assist, crouch assist, and corner slicing. Next, they finally added unlimited tac sprint, which in a Warzone map, which is huge. Why this hasn't been added is beyond me. Finally, they did it, but you can only get it through 2 ways. You either have the sprinter perk, which lets you have unlimited tac sprint, or you bring out your melee knife, and this allows you to unlimited tac sprint as well. They also added mantle protection, which players will now climb onto thin or high ledges rather than over them to prevent untimely deaths. Tim the Tapman, they literally did a setting for you. Now for the movement adjustments. Tac sprint duration. Who's ever in charge, thank you. They said weird feedback around default tac sprint duration, so it has been increased from 2 seconds to 4 seconds. Double the time of tac sprint is actually a huge change. I'm personally happy about it. What do you guys think? They also changed some of the landing tunings, again, for Tim the Tatman. The duration of the shock effect when falling from a near-death height has been reduced to 2.1 seconds from 3 seconds. The minimum fall damage required before the shock effect from landing is now 55, up from 50%, allowing for slightly higher jumps with less punishment. This change is made to better enable the movement opportunities that the Black Ops 6 integration allows. They made changes to the vertical and horizontal zip lines, which made them easier to interact with, whether it be from an angle or when you're falling and wanting to catch a zip line. They didn't mention it in this, but they also made them really fast to get on and off of. For redeploy drones, they made them have a fixed location. They made it to where whenever the gas is closing in on the redeploy drones, they pretty much go away, as opposed to last year, they would keep moving with the circle. For the inventory system, thank the COD gods, is back to Warzone 1 style. No more backpacks, just simple and effective. You have your money, your gas mask, your plates, your kill streaks, your field upgrades, your weapons, your ammo, and your perks, and that's it. You can no longer stow 12 smokes, 5 nades. I'm gonna love this. Moving on to perks, which did get a big overhaul. There is now 18 regular perks and 2 lootable perks. Lootable perks are back, which are pretty much just perks that you can loot off the ground. Recall back to Caldera where you could pick up Tempered, it's the same thing. There's only 2 lootable perks, which are Shrouded and Irradiated. Shrouded drops a smoke whenever you're knocked, and for Irradiated, you move faster while in the gas, you take reduced gas damage, and you can insert armor plates while in the gas. Moving on to Specialist. Specialist perk is back. This will give you all the 18 perks, which are all incredibly broken, and the 2 lootable perks. So in total, with Specialist, you get 20 perks. I don't know what happened here, but it says here, if you're eliminated, the Specialist perk package will disappear. Normally right now, whenever you die with Specialist, it drops on the floor. I believe there was a blog that said this will drop. For some reason, I guess they changed it. I hate this change. This is a big L. It can also be bought in the buy station for $30,000. Then for pre-match perks, you can pretty much adjust your perks before the game starts, which is pretty cool. Wild cards are something that are completely new to Warzone, which I do think will change a lot. This is pretty much like an added perk. There's only 4, so here they are. Bandolier, which is your loadout provides you a munition satchel. Overkill, which is you can equip 2 primary or secondary weapons. Gunfighter, which I think is going to be the most broken, you get 3 extra attachment points for your primary weapon. So instead of 5, it is now 8. But this only does apply to Black Ops 6 weapons, which I do think is a huge W. I don't want to be using Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 3 guns anymore. Then lastly is Battle Ready, which is also really, really good. Your loadout provides you with a UAV and a utility box. Imagine 3 of your homies getting this and popping an advanced UAV off rip. This could be crazy. They also introduced satchels, and there's only 2. There's your armor satchel, which increases your armor plate capacity from 6 to 12, and your munition satchel, which increases the ammunition capacity for all weapon types. Moving on to equipment, they added a couple new ones, but here they are. There's frag grenades, spring mines, semtexes, C4s, thermal grenades, impact grenades, Molotov grenades, throwing knives, blast trap, drill charge, and the combat axe. The combat axe is pretty much a throwing knife. The blast trap you can pretty much plant on any wall and it'll explode once an enemy comes near it. An impact grenade is exactly as it sounds. It blows up on impact. And lastly is a spring mine that's new. I think this is kind of like a bouncing Betty. For equipment, they added the prox alarm, the concussion, flashbangs, snapshot grenades, spy cameras, smoke grenades, experimental gas, stim shots, decoy grenades, shock charges, and the neural gas mine. For the neural gas mine, this is a deployed trap which emits a neurotoxic gas cloud, causing severe hallucination, disorienting, and damaging enemies. For the new spy camera, this quickly marks enemies and hostile equipment for your team. I believe we had something similar back in Modern Warfare 2019 Warzone, and honestly, I don't think this is going to really be that viable. Then for the prox alarm, this is a thrown sticky alarm that rings and flashes when an enemy is nearby. Tripped alarms show on allied minimaps. The alarm will outline enemies within the trapped area. This cannot be seen through walls. So this could actually be viable. One quick note I want to bring up is the stim shots. Yes, that does say that. Stim shots are back. Stim shots not only heal you, they provide a burst of movement speed and refreshes your tactical sprint. I do believe the stim shot meta has returned. For kill streaks, they did add a couple new ones. There is the care package, the napalm strike, the SAM turret, the sentry gun, UAVs, advanced UAVs, bunker busters, cluster strikes, counter UAVs, foresight, precision airstrikes, and supply UAVs. Let's go over the new ones. Care package. Call in a care package that will provide several random items including kill streaks, legendary or greater weapons, lootable perks, and field upgrades. I thought this was just going to be kill streaks. This might actually be viable. They also said in one of the earlier blogs that specialist bonus will be on this. Napalm strike, which is pretty much a fire strike, launches a target carpet bomb strike of explosive napalm. For the napalm strike, this launches a targeted carpet bomb strike of explosive napalm. I can see this being used to isolate gate movements and to kind of block off entrances. Then there's your SAM turret, which is an automated turret that scans for and attacks enemy aerial vehicles within range. Then the sentry gun has returned. The sentry gun is an automated turret that scans for and attacks nearby enemies in a forward-facing cone. Hopefully this isn't broken. Then they made some adjustments, which I don't really understand. They said the bunker buster is now going to be countered by a trophy system, which it already was countered by a trophy system, so I don't know what that's about. And for your field upgrades, you have the Scrambler, the War Cry, Armor Box, Munitions Box, Decontamination Station, Deployable Buy Station, Deployable Cover, Heartbeat Sensor, Loadout Drop, Portable Radar, Portable Redeploy Drones, Recon Drones, Redeploy Drone Beacon, Reinforcement Flares, Trophy Systems, and Utility Boxes. Let's go over the new ones. First is Scrambler. This creates an area that disrupts enemy equipment, field upgrades, killstreaks, and minimaps. Then War Cry. Rally your team, improving nearby allies' movement speed and health regen speed for a duration. I can see this being viable. Then they said the Armor Box and the Munition Box are new, which they're not new, so I don't know why that's there. They did make some adjustments to the field upgrades. The Heartbeat Sensor, which was meta back in Warzone 1, might actually be viable again. For the Heartbeat Sensor, the warning display now highlights in red when enemies are within 50 meters, up from 7 meters. The time between pings has reduced to 1.5 seconds, down from 2.5. I actually think this is going to be good now. For Munitions Box, the Munitions crate now grants 3 clips of every ammo type, rather than only refilling your primary and secondary weapon ammo types. With this change, players are enabled to make pivots in their weapon choices, a focus on breadth rather than depth. What the does that mean? For Portable Radar, the duration of the Portable Radar pulse has been increased from 25 to 30 seconds. Pretty good. Then your personal redeploy drone deploys 50% faster, which I do love, no longer prohibits firing while in use, which is good, and has a standardized height across the different maps. For flares, they are now 30% faster to use, and now trophy systems now counter 5 things instead of 3. Now moving on to weapons, which is the most important part about this video. Let's see what they have to say here. Treyarch says at launch, Black Ops 6 weapons in Warzone will share similar values to their multiplayer counterparts, such as ADS speed, sprint to fire, and recoil. But damage profiles for a number of weapons have been modified to establish a baseline for Warzone. This is huge, and I'll tell you why right now. We encourage new and returning players to study their favorite weapon details in the gunsmith. For those that don't know, multiplayer and Warzone have always been integrated, and there's never really been a point where we've had separate damage values for Warzone and multiplayer. This is the first time Activision is confirming that these will have 2 separate weapon values, which means they are now able to balance guns separately. Before, if you change something in multiplayer, it changed it in Warzone as well. You can imagine how that caused some conflicts. Now, multiplayer and Warzone are able to be tuned separately. Let's continue. With the integration of Black Ops 6, we also now have new tuning options for weapons that weren't previously available, allowing us to adjust aspects like handling, ADS speed, and sprint to fire, magazine sizes, recoil, and more. For instance, while the ASVAL has a default magazine size of 20 in multiplayer, we've set it to 30 for Warzone. Again, this proves my point. This should have been the default way to balance guns from the last 4 years. Let's hope this leads to some solid weapon balancing. Our goal is to make weapon adjustments faster to keep the available selection dynamic and engaging, without making any weapons feel obsolete. With these new tuning options, we aim to refine each weapon's identity and role specific to their use in Warzone, such as emphasizing assault rifles as strong long-range options. I love the way they're describing this new system, and I really do hope it makes some big changes. Additionally, all bolt-action snipers and pump-action shotguns, while aiming down sights, from Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 and Black Ops will have a one-shot headshot potential within their respective max damage ranges. Additionally, in order to incentivize intentional aim, all shotguns will fire 5 pellets while ADSing versus 4 when hip firing. They want you guys to feel that weapons from Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 continue to remain solid, viable choices in Warzone. Their goal is to create a unified combat system that makes each gun enjoyable to use regardless of its origin. We'll continue to improve legacy weapons and attachments throughout the coming year to further support this vision. Honestly, don't ever make them meta. Who cares about Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 guns? Get them out. Okay, maybe I went a little bit too far, but I don't really care for having Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 guns. As long as they're not meta, who cares? Include them if you want. Now for Black Ops 6 weapon changes, they made a couple changes to some attachments. Specifically for the CHF barrel, they changed things for the assault rifles, LMGs, DMRs, SMGs, and pistols. This now grants an increased neck multiplier rather than a head multiplier. Then for sniper rifles and shotguns, this now provides an increased leg modifier instead of an arm modifier. The flip magazine, they changed this as well. The magazine capacity penalty from multiplayer has been removed. In Warzone, flip mags match the base weapon's ammo capacity. Again, less downsides, more pros is always a W. For rapid fire, which I'm glad they balanced it because I did think it was going to be broken in Warzone, this attachment now applies a base damage penalty see in Warzone, along with greater penalties to bullet velocity and range. Okay, buckle your seatbelts here for Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 weapon changes. There's a lot of them, so let's get into it. A visual recoil reduction pass has been applied to Modern Warfare 2 weapons, enhancing their feel and control while shooting. Why these guns even had visual recoil to begin with, I don't know. Barrel and stock attachments from Modern Warfare 2 have also had their penalties reduced. Additionally, a significant balancing pass has been completed for underbarrel and muzzle attachments from both Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3. Now listen to this. All cons have been removed from these attachments, meaning they now only provide stat boosts, with each subcategory of underbarrels and muzzles functioning identically except for cosmetic differences. Amp attachments in these slots, however, retain their unique functionality and balancing. The barrel and stock attachment having decreased penalties is pretty cool, but the muzzles and underbarrels having no cons? These all might be crazy. Some of the muzzle enhancements are suppressors boost velocity and damage range, the compensators improve recoil control, the flash hiders increase damage range and firing aiming stability, the breachers enhance melee damage and recoil control. The underbarrel enhancements are angled grip increases hipfire and tac stance accuracy and aim walking steadiness. The hand stop improves sprint to fire and ADS speed, and the vertical grip enhances recoil control and firing aiming stability. Additionally, Modern Warfare 2 guns and Modern Warfare 3 guns have the corner slicing mechanic. I personally don't like it, but if you guys like that, cool. So let's talk about this real quick. There's been a big change in the way that Warzone is played out now. Not only did they change all the perks and the way they all work, but they also changed all the weapons and their attachments. Now, most attachments no longer have any cons with a lot of pros, and they made perks incredibly overpowered. How this is going to affect Warzone, I have no idea, but honestly, I'm here for it. The last 2 to 3 years haven't been the greatest. From Caldera being one of the worst maps ever created, to Warzone 2 quite literally making everybody touch grass. And with Modern Warfare 3 having to deal with the repercussions of Warzone 2, and ultimately did a really good job at it. So now this year, it seems like they're finally trying to make the game different than what we've seen for the last 3 years. It seems like the pacing of the game is going to get a little bit faster, which I personally do like. I'm curious to see what the community thinks. Do you guys think having no cons for attachments is good or bad? Moving on to vehicles, which definitely needed a huge buff. Here it says, all new vehicle physics tech leveraged from the Treyarch engine and Infinity Ward engine. Our goal is to bring more fun to driving with enhanced maneuverability and natural physics that is easy to use but can also be mastered. Toward this goal, we have removed flat tires and vehicle repairing and fuel, all introduced by what? Warzone 2. Hey man, put the fries in the bag and just give us Warzone 1 vehicles, man. Okay. I troll, not really. But this is what they did. They did updated models, improved natural physics, improved the camera, procedural character leaning, improved VFX, vehicle lights and exhaust, dynamic vehicle death and explosion reactions, new helicopter simulation and audio, and support for aim-based controls. Honestly, I don't know what all that means. Next is the UI in Warzone, which we all know needed a huge revamp. Enough of this Hulu UI, we want just normal. For your customized menu, they pretty much made it to where it's the legacy tab back in the old days like Modern Warfare 2019. You can also switch between Modern Warfare 2 guns, Modern Warfare 3 guns, or BO6 guns in the menu, which is pretty cool. They added a TAC map icon layout, which pretty much makes for a cleaner interface, and they reorganize where the contracts sit on your UI. They let you change your minimap type without it affecting your multiplayer settings. They also added an icon next to your ammo count when a munition satchel is equipped to indicate if your weapon has room to carry more ammo. They brought back many elements from Warzone's original release, including equipment icons and the shape of armor plate icons and more. One big change that I do think is cool is the squad wipe kill feed. So in Battle Royale, the message whenever you wipe a squad says sent to the gulag if the defeated team has one or more members going to the gulag. Now you'll be able to tell whether a team is fully team wiped or if they have still gulag. They did change some aim assist stuff, but they didn't say exactly what they did, but they said the minimum aim assist distance has changed and the max turn clamp speed has changed. For looting ping, you can no longer ping past 40 meters. And for live ping visibility, which I do think is amazing, live pings and danger pings have received positions and scaling adjustments to prevent blocking or covering enemies' upper bodies. This I think is great. Sometimes they would get in the way of whenever you're aiming down sight, and I hated it. The in-game splash frequency has been reduced. They said we have reduced the overall clutter of in-game splashes by reducing frequency and associated noise. Pretty much less distractions. They changed the weapon HUD as well, where you highlight your attachments blue to better see them. And lastly, they made some changes to the audio, which we know how that goes. They added an enhanced headphone mode. Don't activate this. This is just an ad for the game. You don't need to spend $20. They changed the armor plate break audio, which is just a new audio to indicate whether you break somebody's armor or not. Proximity chat has been reduced from 55 meters to 45 meters. They also stacked hit markers and sound effects, enabling displays both a wall bang, hitting a player in water, and pairing of new audio per marker. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know what that means. And they added sound cues to bounty contracts. I actually kind of like this. Whenever your bounty level increases, a sound appears. That pretty much wraps up the blog. Honestly, in my opinion, the biggest changes here are going to be the guns, their attachments, and the way they all function in Warzone now. Even the new perk system is going to change Warzone completely. Let me know in the comments below, do you guys like these new changes? Are you guys ready for something new? Or do you guys want Warzone to stay the same it's always been?